Welcome to Marketing with Confidence. I'm your host, Marianne Amies. We're going to be talking all things digital and online marketing for business owners and marketing professionals. If you've been feeling overwhelmed by your digital marketing, be sure to listen along and you'll hear tips, interviews and more that will give you the confidence to create marketing you love. Welcome back to another episode of Marketing with Confidence. I'm excited today to be joined by Chris Schwager, and we're going to be talking about mastering video strategies for success. So welcome to the podcast, Chris.
Thank you, Marianne.
How are you going?
I'm good, thank you. This is lovely and casual, isn't it? It's relaxed.
I know, very chill. We didn't take 72 edits to get to this moment.
There we go. We're in. Press on.
Look, I'd love you to kick off by introducing yourself to my listeners and telling us all about how you became so passionate about video marketing.
Well, how do you know I'm passionate?
I can tell by your voice.
That's assumptive, isn't it? Yeah, I am actually. I got critiqued today on. You got chosen because of you're excited, your energy, man. Your energy, like clients see that energy, and people talk about that all the time. Even like young people, how do you get the energy? How do you have the energy? And it's like, well, I just acknowledge that part of the process of communicating is about entertaining as well, and trying to like keep it upbeat and keep them interested and engaged. Like if I came in with video marketing, let's talk about video strategy. It's totally boring, right? Like I'm just trying to keep it alive, use my language the way I know how, and hopefully you guys learn something along the way. Look, I am Chris Schwager. I'm the head of video marketing here at Rich Films. I'm also the head of DIY video production, meaning I help a lot of people since pandemic really get in tune with how to overcome a lot of the technical and creative barriers that it takes to produce content themselves. Now, what I'm talking about is those that are out there, trying to improve the quality of their image, their audio from home without having to worry about bringing on video production companies and the cost associated with that, or they're just sick of their crappy webcam and charging thousands of dollars for what they're doing. They're a financial planner. They want to come off looking more professional than they currently are. Then I help them do that at the convenience of their desk to become better equipped to be able to produce their own videos without going through all of those technical and creative variables to do it. Right now, that's a big point of difference for us. But I originally started for 21 years just professionally producing videos for businesses like you, for your audience's needs, and that's all exciting and whatnot, and it's kind of fun, but it's hard to get audience retention. It's hard to get the customer retention. It's hard to get them to buy again. It's hard to get them excited about you and to keep them hooked in the sales process indefinitely. But with the DIY video program, it's enabled me to be regularly contacting people and helping them beyond just, okay, we've produced a professional video for you. There you go, thanks. And, extending our, experience through all facets of video production, Yeah. So like, script writing, on camera training, how to incorporate video into your sales process. I mean, there's a whole world of video that majority of Australian businesses haven't a clue about. They think that they see social, that's very trendy. Social media video, very trendy. Everybody knows about it. Or it's like a video on their homepage or a video on YouTube. These are the ways that Australian businesses categorize professional videos. They kind of pigeonhole into those three areas. They don't think about video in sales. A video that gets played once doesn't hit the radar for majority of people because they don't understand how they can do it professionally, and they also don't see the value. Why would you just produce one video for one play? That doesn't make sense. Haven't we been taught about creating viral content and getting as much exposure as possible? Well, one play for the person that's going to give you thousands of dollars worth of business makes sense. If it changes their perception of you, mate, I'd do one plays any day of the week.
Yeah, so true. And especially, I guess, in the format that you're bringing it to people where they can effectively DIY it professionally, make something they're proud of. So to that point, why wouldn't you then produce really meaningful, tailored individual videos that probably have far more impact than that tens of thousands of one-off video that you put on your homepage that people may or may not watch.
Yeah, it's funny. Like, there's so many variables to video. Like, people ask me about duration. What's the perfect duration of a video? And it's like, well, shit, man. If it's 30 seconds and it's one play and it took you 2 minutes to produce and it brings in thousands of dollars for your business, shit, man, I'd be doing that every day of the week over trying to produce one 60-second video, backing it with advertising spend and trying to bloody go viral with it. With like a guess that maybe or maybe not, it will go viral. Like, test and measure. I mean, look, at the end of the day, you've got to test what's going to work for you. However, having exposure to these other ideas around video, how they can actually plug gaps in your sales and marketing, majority of people wouldn't even think about. And yet people complain about the lack of differentiation, and yet they're not innovating in any other way. They're not aware of ways that they could plug some of these challenges, these problems in their processes with video.
Yeah.
And I guess I'm talking to the business that really has no exposure with video at all, right? Has literally no idea how they would ever use video in their business. The answer to that is get educated.
Yeah.
Start listening, start getting in networks where people are doing this. Start talking with video coaches and employing maybe the odd videographer and see what they can teach you. And, these types of things are the way to gravitate toward a business where you're leading with video.
Yeah.
Like, imagine your business is inundated with opportunities and inquiries because people are like, oh my God, I love that 30-second video you did for me. How did you do that? It was so great. It really caught my attention. And I get a smile out of you when I say that, but this is the reality of every day for me.
Yeah.
People are commending us on our sales process. They're commending us on that first 30-second personal profile video. Now, we're a video company, right? It makes sense for us to do that. But we teach others how to do it for themselves so that they can get the same reaction, right? And it's the first thing you're talking about. It's not like the opportunity, but like, oh, wow, how did you do it? So clever. It's so good. And like, how did you do that? And it must have taken you ages. And it's all about the video, right? And the video becomes this uniqueness that they've never had in their business.
But it's so transferable. As you said, you're a video company, so it sells what you do. But I imagine if I got that from, the accounting firm that I was thinking of shifting to, and all of a sudden I have a personal introduction from a partner or whoever's going to manage my account, and they use my name and they talk about specific things, like that's going to cut through like no other sales proposal that you get through.
100%. And we've got there's companies every day, like we've got a mortgage broker in Queensland that's doing this. Like, these aren't people that are have experience or any history with video, and yet they're adopting these techniques that we're teaching, and they're really getting a lot of value out of it because if you go deep on what it's doing, it's very much the best first impression that you're giving because you're not delivering a automated text-based email response saying, oh, we'll get in touch with you in 24 hours, right? Like, you've got your face in there, you've got a nice little video, it's personalized, it doesn't take you long to produce, but it makes the world a difference for them and their impression of you because they feel connected by virtue of that you care. That you have taken the effort to do something like this. And whenever I have received a personalized video, whether it's been an email or in an email or whatnot, I've felt the same. I've felt special.
Yeah.
So why wouldn't everybody else?
It's so funny because you talk about automation, and I think, the last 5 years, automation, it's not a trend or a fad, but, it became a buzz strategy. Automate everything. What can you automate? Automate your nurture, automate your lead gen, automate. Automation is fantastic, but what it lacks is personalization. And I think what you're talking about is, having a blueprint, having a strategy that you're running through, but actually using personalization so that it doesn't just feel like cookie cutter. Oh, I got email A, and then in 7 days I'll get email B, and then a day after that I'll get email C, and then I'll be converted. Whereas you're talking about something so personal. And again, if that video was just the corporate shtick, 90-second, this is who we are, you'd still just delete it and feel like, well, what was the point of that? But if someone's using your name, talking to you directly, yeah, the lasting impression of that, it's indescribable what that would do, and the connection that would build. And especially, it's an opportunity, obviously, to show your expertise and show your authority, but also to really connect in a really human way that, is that old school meeting at a networking event, or an old school, meeting someone and starting up a chat about something. You're going to build a much stronger personal connection in that moment.
Yeah. And I had a quote recently. I was on another podcast and I said personalization over automation. It was like this idea that, would I be better to pick up the phone than spend all that time trying to get an automated process in place that people, are onto, right? Like I've been culling subscriptions, and I came across this thing the other day, and I was like $150 for a subscription called Expedia. And I said to my guy, I'm like, Kevin, I said, what's this? $150 a month. What's Expedia? And he goes, oh, this is a thing in InMail, sends messages out and it staggers the messages, and it's like an outreach thing. And I said, is it working? And he goes, no, not really. I said, can we switch it off? And he's like, yeah. And I'm like, good, $150 back in my cash flow. I'm stoked, right? And look, I guess it's because that whole InMail thing is gone. It's done. I mean, as far as I'm concerned.
Once they made another folder for the InMails versus the regular messages on LinkedIn, it died. I was like, they're all dead to me now. I ignored them before, but now I don't even see them.
Yeah, it's I get a lot of people asking me about, I can optimize your podcast for you and get podcast hosts, and it's podcast. And I'm like, Jesus Christ, man. I'm getting spam left and right and center. And I like to connect with everyone because I'm like a connection whore, right? But but if I see I connect with them, and then I see a message from them immediately, and I'm like, oh fuck. You're out of there. You're out of there. You're out of my world, right? Like, but it's funny. But yeah, anyway, back to automation, right? So here's my theory on it. It's like, if you had a phone at your desk, or you had automation that took you longer to kind of set up and have going, but it could go forever, which one would you choose? Which one would yield the fastest results, right? I got to say the phone wins. Based on, you could bang out 10 calls and, you probably get a result, rather than having this kind of like bingo tumbler concept of the automated funnel that like may or may not yield a result. It's like referral marketing, it's like phones are like the ads, and automation is like referrals. You never know. You never know when you're gonna maybe get something from it. Whereas if I pick up the phone, I usually get results. Now I know, and then my wife said to me, "Oh, the young generation, they don't like to, they don't like to talk anymore. It's all about accountability and making sure that they get everything documented in emails." And I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I can run a business like that. I got to talk. I got to get on video calls. I got to see people, in those video calls. Like, the difference between a phone call with some mother of two parking the car with her kids screaming in the background is not my favorite way to be starting a professional relationship. 100%. Like us connecting in this way, by me seeing you, and I mean, it's just different, right? Like I can see all these beautiful nuances of your facial expression.
Well, I was going to say, I'm that asshole that does all my return calls in the car driving from work.
You're that woman. Shame on you. No,
it's just me.
You do what you got to do.
And my mild road rage. But besides that, it's just like efficiency. I'm like, cool, I'm in the car. Let me smash out all these return phone calls. But it's not the same. Like, it's not the same as being face-to-face with someone. And I guess, I was going to ask you today about how you think video shifted, and you touched on it at the start. The pandemic is obviously when you shifted your business more towards DIY. And I think that the pandemic shifted a lot of those interactions for people, and probably shifted people realizing the importance of true face-to-face connection, even if it is virtual face-to-face connection.
Yeah, over doing things where the standard of 0 was acceptable. Like if you had a bed head in the background and you're in silhouette, that's it. That's all. That's all I can do right now. It is what it is. right? And so we actually did the survey throughout that period, and we understood that poor quality webcam, background noise, poor lighting, poor wardrobe. We had a whole list of things that were wrong with the way that people were conducting themselves professionally. And we learned, I think statistically, about 84% agreed that the way that people were presenting themselves in this way was not acceptable, was needed a hell of a lot of improvement. And funnily enough, in our growth, I guess, people have now come to the realization that they love working in a virtual sense. They love having the option to be able to do 3 days a week at home and be there for their children.
Yeah.
And to do that better than they've ever done it before, they need to improve the quality of their microphone, the quality of their image, and the quality of the way that they connect, using this eye contact that I'm giving you right now. And so therefore they're more willing to invest in something like the DIY desktop studio, because they believe that that's what they need to do to cut through, to come off different. And that's still a high priority for those that, run a fucking financial accounting firm or something like that, right? Like, I mean, differentiation is its own real pandemic in this world. I mean, it's very difficult to differentiate. I mean, those that think they're different aren't. And video plays an integral part in what's called perceived point of difference. This idea that if you lead with video, that, there's a high probability that your competitors are any in your listening sphere here to adopt this and to start doing it, not for you to actually be able to adopt a new way of alleviating objections and filling gaps, challenges, problems within your sales and marketing by using video in this way, you will come off looking different. You will win based on the fact that, you are doing things that are perceived different.
Yeah, it's interesting. I haven't thought of, I guess, I hadn't thought about video in respect of that. I think I've really traditionally thought about, and maybe because I'm so digitally marketing focused, I've thought about it as social media, importance of video marketing, need to do more video, website, but not really thought about how can video marketing impact my lead gen, my business development, my pitching, my sales. And it's really like getting my cogs turning of, what I can be doing, what I can be recommending to others as well.
I love it. Well done. Well, you're the digital guru, right? So you will, by virtue of understanding these things, stand out, and actually give people insights. There's nothing better than being helpful for your clientele and being helpful beyond, yes, you can use video to enhance your social media. Like that's true. That is true. But there's a lot left on the table as opportunities. Like for instance, you reaching out to me in this podcast, right? Yeah. So you've given me text. You could quite easily have sent a generic video in preparation for the podcast. So the generic video covers off, okay, turn up 15 minutes early. Here's your list of questions I've prepared in the downloadable document attached. Make sure you use headphones, be in a quiet room, right? Like all those things, fun. But what they're doing, like what the best part about video is the subtext of video. It's the you can write all the words on the page, but it's the fact that you're presenting it, that I get reminded of you and what you look like. We've met once through the summit, the virtual summit, right? So I had to look you up and go, okay, that's her, and put the face to the name, right? I had to do that. But you could have enhanced that whole process by having a generic video that you could record once and distribute for every future podcast. You'll probably take that idea and go and run with it now. And I would encourage you to do it, because I think it's important. I think it's important in facial recognition in the buying process, in any process, is validated by how many times can you expose your market with that, right? Like there's a lot of talk thrown around about personal brand and all that sort of stuff. I just reckon it's like, it's facial equity. It's how many times can you appear in video form for your market, right? So I always get people going, I love that video you're producing. I'm like, which out of the 1,000 videos are you talking about, right? But I kind of ignore it now. I go, oh, good, I'm glad you enjoyed it. Yeah, and that's about as much as I could possibly say because I actually have no idea what they're talking about. However, we made a commitment about 8 years ago, and that was that every website page that we owned must have video on it.
Wow.
So we were very adamant about achieving that goal, and we needed to make sure, and this is arguably true, needed to make sure that the video we produced for that page solved a problem. Now, when you think about a video that appears on a 404 error page, right? Like let's just, okay, you search for something or it's a broken link and you get this, whoops, sorry, page missing. Well, we have a video that that appears there, right? Now, not overly solving a problem. However, it is an opportunity not just to serve up a blank page, but again, put myself in the bloody in the space again. It's again just using my face to populate that area where otherwise it is a boring, dry, dull space that is actually an aggravant, right? There's actually nothing good that comes from a 404 error page. Yeah. It's just more work for the person that's searching for that particular thing. So 404 error page, contact us page, the out of office videos. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Like you would have seen that by now, right? Like, yeah, like these are all ways that you can be there. It's passive, right? It's not something that people would be actively searching for, but it's for you to be there when otherwise they would just be getting shithouse text that means nothing.
So many ideas. So many ideas. I love it. I love the idea of making a video for a 404 page. So many
it's so easy, right? I mean, you just got to make sure your site can support video in there. And luckily when we moved over to Kajabi, which is a website platform, we plugged it in straight away. That was the way we did it. But yeah, so it is funny. I mean, but you've got to get excited about it a little bit, and I think the evidence around, well, what's this actually going to do for my business? Like, how many people actually go to the 404 error page and go, and then email me straight away and go, that was so clever. Like very few. Like I don't think I've ever had a comment on our contact page, for instance. This cute little girl, she's dancing around in the studio, right? And then she pops her head up and she goes, "Give us the call." Like that's it. It just keeps looping and looping, kind of annoyingly, right? But it's but again, it's just this opportunity to be thought of differently, and to do something that people aren't considering. And it's funny because I still get people showing me their website and I explain to them, this website would be great, because you got so little personalization here, it'd be great to have your company profile video up the front and shit. And people would be like, "Oh, really? How does that work?" And it's funny because I've been in this business 21 years and they're just like, it's like they're discovering it for the first time. It's like this new thing. And I really would love for Australian businesses to be a lot further along with their digital, with their website. Like, fuck, how long we had them now? Like 30 years, right?
I know.
And still there's so many sites that you go to. And I told you on the panel, I told you about this guy, a client of mine who I'm video coaching. We go to his site and I have to back this story up and say I believe what he's doing is right. But I go to his site and this guy's getting video coach. He's invested in the DIY video studio. So he's producing videos, right? He's going places, right? He's going to do stuff. But he doesn't have a site. Like, it's a holding page. There's like literally nothing there. He runs his entire business through events, like a major event once a year, and then email correspondence and whatnot thereafter. So he has so much capacity for video. It's just that you won't see it on his website. He may appear on his social or his YouTube or his email correspondence or even live at his events, right?
Yeah.
So, but that intrigues me deeply, that somebody that is seemingly at the coalface, completely inadequate with regards to their digital, and yet is invested $15K in his video marketing, his capability to produce really good, high quality videos, because he's just doing it differently. And I'm totally embrace that.
Yeah, no, 100%. But I do think you make a valid point that, at least 50% of Australian businesses are just so behind in what they could be doing online. I don't know why we've had such a slow take up or they've built one website 2 decades ago that cost them 50,000 that looks like shit, and they're not willing to invest again to rebuild.
Well, it's marketing, and marketing is always at the bottom. This is the thing, right?
Yeah.
Like, you and I both know it's
I'm
the
there
thing
with
that
you.
gets the chop, right? Like everything. It's the first thing. I just chopped my SEO company, right? Like, case in point, I'm culling costs out of the business. I've just taken over 100% ownership of our company, and SEO, whilst the intention and what I believe they were doing is right, and I believe in it. I believe in SEO, particularly when you got a good company who has strategically changed the structure and the way that Google sees us. And that to me was the most important thing first, is that Google could see us first and then our market second, right? So they've given them a year or more, but unfortunately it's $1,000 a month, and it's just the thing I got to chop out of the budget. That's all it is. I won't say no to getting it back. It's just right now I need to take on some cash, and I need to, they're an easy one to chop.
Yeah, which is hard, isn't it? Because there are all those decisions where there are long-term effects. It's like, it's like cutting, or we'll just take down our social media. We won't have any social media. We'll stop producing videos that we've been producing. Yes, there's a quick cash benefit to that, but there's a lost opportunity. There is a future opportunity that is diminished by what you didn't do yesterday. It's that whole, when's the best time to plant a tree yesterday? It is that future opportunity. But as business owners, we also get it, right? Like, we're not just giving services to clients, we're running businesses too. And we get that when you have to cut something, you've got to look for the biggest opportunity that can give you money and not take down essential services that you need right now.
And I think it's hard because businesses get into a repetitive seesaw cycle where if they do chop their marketing, inevitably their sales, their business is running on a float because they've got cash, and cash is oxygen, and that's running okay and everything's working. But then, sales drop, they got to reactivate their marketing again, right? So the seesaw keeps going. Oh, they overspend on marketing. Oh, we'll call that and get back out. It's kind of like
100%,
right? And like Gary V said one thing, and it was like, it was professional versus amateur, right? It's like, well, I'll go amateur every day because creativity is subjective, right? And so I would encourage that any business going, oh, well, we can't afford our marketing. Well, go out and pull out your iPhone. Like, I never thought I'd ever say that, because as a video company, I always specialize in professional stuff. I always advocated for creativity and being professional and making everything polished and fucking slick, right? Now my vibe is completely flipped, because I do believe in that philosophy of getting stuff out there in volume versus trying to polish something and spend money and time and resourcing on that. So really, there is no excuse. If you've got an iPhone in your pocket and you have culled your marketing, then you can still do shit.
Yeah, you just need to put the time in. Yeah,
that's right. And if you're a procrastinator, then suck eggs. Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't want to hear you complain. Like, that time is the thing that is killing you. Like, I get it all the time, and it really grates me. I just don't have time. And I'm like, man, you got the same amount of time as me.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And it's like,
I always say to clients, you got two things. You got time and money. So if you don't have time, you're going to need a lot of money. If you don't have money, find some time. Because to grow, you can either take your time to do it on a, no low budget, or you want to go quick. Well, then you're going to need to invest and get other people on board to do stuff for you and to run stuff for you. And that's kind of, that to me is the two choices you've got.
I think a lot of it as well is to do with value. Like, do you value your time? It's not like, oh, I'm just time poor all the time. Like, I'm just scarce. Yeah. Well, but what do you value? Because if you value spending time with your loved ones and your kids and you want to put more, then you need to make aggressive adjustments to your business to be able to shift how you're spending your day. Like, when I took on VAs in the Philippines, it was a really cathartic kind of like offloading of shit. It was just like this. It was just like, what you mean to tell me, like, if I have a process that's like 20 minutes or an hour or something, I can get rid of that and give it to somebody in the Philippines because it's a low level task? It's like, yeah. And then I realized, no, it didn't need to be 20 minutes, half an hour, 45-minute process. It could be a minute. And so I started thinking in minutes, right? Okay, if this thing takes me, like, so I've had people laugh and gawk at me about not checking my own email, right? Now, I'm sitting here with you and I'm looking at my inbox that was cleared out this morning and went down to 3 emails and it's at 99.
Oh, yeah.
Right? Now, fuck that. Like, I will not end this great call adding, I hope, a lot of value to your audience and sit down and sift through 99 fucking emails. I'm not into it, right? I'm going to give this to my VA and I'm going to say, man, most of this is shit. You're going to have to try and figure it out and away you go, sort of thing. So I value my time and I value where I'd be best to spend my time right now is with you, talking to your market and giving tips and value like this to them and getting them to understand a perspective of maybe what you're doing in business. You know, like this is the thing, when you run your own business and you're not part of a network necessarily to support you, you sometimes think the decisions that you make in business are stupid, you're lacking confidence because you don't realize why it's taking so long and why you are making mistakes and why you're not able to retain clients and stuff like that. And it's like, man, it's all good. It's just that you need to have a fresh set of eyes on you to reinforce that.
Yeah.
You know, like there needs to be someone that goes, no, that's okay. Like what you did, like it's completely fine that your cash flow stuffed right now. This is the way that you rectify it. Like, don't worry, you got $56,000 of tax debt. Don't sweat it, man. Everybody's got tax debt. Like, what's the big deal? It'd be better with the tax office than you having to go hungry, right? So it's like, you know, I love this business community. I love the fact that the successes and the failures are completely embraced, and you can't have one without the other. You know, people have tried to process up my coaching for them, and they're like, oh, everything we start from, like when we start coaching together, everything we do, I'm going to process up right from the start. It's like, that's impossible.
Yeah.
You're never going to be able to do it. You're going to need to fail and understand what works before you can process what's working, right?
Yeah.
So let it go, baby. Just go along for the ride and do what you can and incrementally grow as a result.
Yeah, I love that. I guess thinking about wrapping up, about it's been such a great chat.
Not thinking, we are, right? We are.
Oh, thinking, processing. Making a process on how we're going to wrap up.
Are you going to ask me the book question? Don't ask me the book question.
I'm not going to. I ditched the questions, Chris. You empowered me at the start on our off-air chat to just ditch the questions. So I'm going loosey-goosey. I've got no plan, and I'm like.
And I've loved it. I've
loved it too. I've loved it. I love it. Exactly. We've gone left, right, up, down, and it's great. And I think, obviously we touched on before, we're on a panel together. We're on a panel of 3. We surprised became a panel of 2. And I think that we had great flow.
I was very happy. Can I just intercept here? For those that are ever trying to sponsor an event, we sponsored big on this one, right? We did like a gold sponsorship thing. We did all the video for it. And with hesitation, but however, we went for it. Only based on our previous sponsorships of events. It's always been like we pour all this work in, we get fuck all out of it. Like it's so hard, right? But funnily enough, on the day that I presented my content, I presented live that afternoon, I had a meeting with somebody who had come in via that event. And I said, oh, great. Did you see my presentation? They're like, oh, no, I didn't even attend your presentation. I didn't even attend the event. And I'm like, okay, that's fine. Tell me more. And they're like, well, I was like, found out about it. And I was looking for this guy and I went to the speakers page and then I saw DIY video production. What's that? That's interesting. Inquired, boom. And she closed.
Oh, she didn't even attend.
It was 15K and she didn't even go to the event.
Amazing.
And I'm doing her video install for her on Friday in 2 days' time, flying up to northern New South Wales and helping her out. And I got nine inquiries as a result. Now, I don't want to show off and say, oh, how amazing this, but I just want to put it in perspective. All of the events that we sponsored in the past delivered pretty much fuck all.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
This one was different because we were able to lead with this, DIY desktop studio and all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
The carrot is different now.
Yeah.
It's not like, come for your free consultation for a professional video. it's like, that's not interesting. Like, there's nothing romantic about that, right? But I think because the spin is different now, it's probably yielding a higher result. And I would hope for you guys out there that you can find that, because once you get it, it's the closest thing you'll come to get to as a silver bullet to the business. I've always reminded there's no silver bullet. Like, you put ad spend down, like do a viral video, nothing's going to rock your world. And that's what's been ingrained in me. And now I kind of think, well, if you try hard enough, you keep pouring your energy, you keep listening to the pain points of the market and, nurturing that and using that as feedback as to how you can modify your thing and spin your thing, and take risks, like you'll be pointing in the right direction. I said this right at the start of my presentation. It's hard to change when seemingly things are going as they should. It's hard to rock that. It's hard to break that up. But if you are not getting closer to that fucking goal, then you've got to change it. And you've got to change it with the expectation that, shit might go down before it goes back up. But are you getting more connected with what you're, to your goal? Then if that's the case, then don't settle for mediocre. What does my wife say? She's like, make it juicy. You're only here for such a short period of time. You're here to enjoy this thing you call business, and fucking enjoy it and go for it. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I think that could be the quote of my podcast to date.
Just fucking go for it.
I think I might have to rebrand the podcast there, but I love an inspirational wrap up, and you have absolutely brought the goods with that one. It's been an absolute pleasure. I feel like there's, we've talked video, we've got life advice, we've got some business coaching to wrap it up, but give us the details of where people can come and find out more about your course and your offer, because I am sure there will be many people wanting to look at that carrot.
Well, look, yes, please do. It's called the DIY video program. It's ridgefilms.com.au/DIY. That will get you to the exact page that I'm talking about. And from there, if you book in and we have a bit of free video coaching or whatever, we'll get to know each other that way. I reckon that's the best thing, because I'm a small business and I love to sell shit, right? So I want you to see what's possible and what you could be doing too. So go to ridgefilms.com.au/DIY. I'd love you to book in.
And the best thing is, if you get it wrong, you'll get the 404 video, and I'm sure that will be a delight.
Yeah, good. No, like that site will just give you an eye opener as to like some of the there's this beautiful video right at the top that it's the first video I've ever produced for a website that was 5 minutes long. Everything that I believed in over the years of only producing less than 90-second video has been broken with this 5-minute video, because I believed in trying to market in a way that's driven by emotion rather than the tech side. So, oh yes, you can get a camera, sound, lights, and teleprompter at the convenience of your desk. Or we could talk about all the people that have suffered, and how their life's changed, and how they're spending more quality time with their family, and how they're more efficient in business. We could talk about that. That sounds juicy. And that's what I'm looking for, a juicy business.
I love it. Thank you so much, Chris. I look forward to talking to you more soon.
Thanks, Marianne. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Hey, thanks for listening to another episode. If you don't want to miss one, make sure you subscribe to the show in your podcast app. And if you love it, be sure to share it with friends and colleagues who you think could benefit from increasing their digital marketing confidence. Want more? Head to marianneamies.com to find out how you can work with me directly, to reach out to have me speak at your event, or to grab yourself some free resources.